I, male 33, am marrying the love of my life, female 25. She has a daughter, tween. She was 5 when I met my fiance. The bio dad is not in the picture. We didn't start dating until my fiance finished college 3 years ago. She worked her butt off as a single mom to get her high school diploma and then her teaching degree after her parents kicked her out when she was pregnant. Eventually they reconciled and they helped her with childcare while she finished school. We met when she was a student teacher at the school where I work. For the last 2 years, her daughter has been my daughter. I'm adopting her as part of our wedding because I'm her dad. Both my fiance and I are Caucasian. My daughter's mixed. When we were discussing it with both of our parents, I overheard my mother saying she couldn't wait to have a real grandchild. I immediately asked her what she meant by that, and she said she just means it's obvious that my daughter isn't biologically mine. She said that she wants a child that's obviously her grandchild to show off. I would never in a million years have guessed those words would come out of my mother. I told her she wasn't welcome at my wedding and to not worry about being seen with my daughter because she would never be seeing any of my kids. She's been blowing up my social media, claiming that it's my fault for not understanding how she feels. It takes everything I have not to block her because she and my dad share accounts. I want to just call her out as a racist witch. My family thinks I should give her another chance. I don't want her and her attitude near my family. My fiance says it's my call, but I know she's hurt by what my mother said. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. As a white girl who was adopted by a man of color who married my mom, good for you. You're doing what my dad did. I was his, period. End of discussion. You have a good heart, and I'm sorry your mother needs to evolve so much. Your family of origin doesn't have a say in this. Your family now, your wife and daughter, take precedence. I'd be waiting for a long letter of apology and how your mother realizes that what she said was not only hurtful, but incredibly racist, and frankly very shallow. Wanting a baby to show off? That's icky. You want to love the children you have around you now, not a someday baby. I understand your disgust. Your mom wants an accessory, not a grandchild. Your mom isn't even sorry about what she said. Speaks volumes about how you did the right thing. Keep your children away from that, all of them. Thank you for stepping up and protecting this child. Shame on your mom. Worse, she doubled down on her statement when you called her out on it. In my family, my grandmother hated my mom, and because of that, she was very cold and distant from my middle sister, who also looked a lot like my mother. She would exclude her from sleepovers and other activities. As a child, I didn't realize what was happening, but I found out that my sister would ask my mom why Grandpa and Grandma didn't ask her over. That was a great pain to her. I could see your mother doing this same thing, excluding your current daughter from activities that include any future activities she might have with your bio children. So, OP, your mother would consistently treat your daughter as less than for the rest of the old bat's miserable life. I, female 32, have been with my boyfriend, 35, for 7 years. He has what he calls supernatural ability, and that's to dream about things and/or events before they take place. In other words, he claims to predict the future, LOL. He once talked about seeing me getting a new car in his dream, and in 2 months' time I bought a new car that I was saving for. Another example, he told me about seeing a new friend coming into my life in his dreams. It turns out he was talking about the dog I adopted in July. So basically, events that weren't so surprising. Now I've got a raise at work, around 40% after working my butt off for 6+ years with this company. I was happy because now I get to renovate parts of the house like I always wanted. I don't earn much anyway, and when I told my boyfriend, he told me to set aside a percentage of the money for him. I was so confused. I asked why, and he said it was because he had already dreamed about me getting a raise and predicted this event before it happened. I said, I don't know, since I don't recall he ever told me. He got upset and said that he didn't tell me because I kept making fun of his abilities and that I could go ask his friends and they'll confirm that he did see this coming. I said I was sorry, but this seemed illogical and unreasonable of him. I refused to give him any money, and he flipped out and called me ungrateful and claimed that I was turning my back on the people who helped me to get this raise. Not gonna lie, I kinda laughed at the absurdity of this, but he got even more offended and said that I couldn't blame him for not telling me after I kept mocking him like that. I refused and said there was no way I would give him any percentage and would instead save the extra money for renovation work around the house. We argued and he left to be with his friends, who later got involved and said that the way I treated my boyfriend and his incredible prediction ability was appalling and out of line. They said he wasn't asking for much and I should consider it. OP, I had a dream last night and saw you getting a new boyfriend. I wonder if his incredible prediction abilities would have forecast his soon-to-be single life. Judging from this attitude, he should have a bag packed already. Not the idiot girl. Your man is Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. We all laughed at the absurdity, but honestly, why are you with him? Anyone who feels entitled to other people's money isn't worth the effort. And his predicting ability? You were saving for a car, then you bought one. You were getting a new dog, and you got one. You busted your butt to get a promotion, and you got one. I'll show you my predictive abilities. You had an entitled boyfriend who sent his flying monkeys at you, and he got dumped. Let's assume for a minute he actually has these abilities and that he predicted that you'd get a raise. It's not like he got the raise for you. It's not like he used his Jedi mind tricks to make the raise happen. He just saw that it would happen. You earned that raise. He just supposedly watched it happen. This is such a crazy position for him, considering he literally contributed nothing to your raise. Do you think as well as getting a raise you could raise your standards in men and get a new boyfriend? You don't owe him money because he saw you get a raise. That's not how raises work. You're not a lotto ticket. Congrats on your promo. He doesn't deserve anything. He's an entitled child. For the love of Pete, dump and block him. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, and I gave her a new board game. For background, we have a toddler girl and we just had a baby, and she's been a little down, but she's taking medication for it. We were popping out the pieces after we got home from buying the game, and my wife asked me to please stop and that she wanted us to do it later so our toddler doesn't mess with it or lose the pieces, as it's a game she really wanted, and it was a little expensive. I figured I might as well keep going as we weren't doing anything at that moment anyway. She asked me to stop again, but I was halfway through doing it. Our daughter was busy with a new toy, but then came over and started messing with the pieces. I started to tell her to stop, but my wife said, "Fine, if you're going to keep popping them out around her, you may as well let her help, as it's going to be double the work trying to stop her from helping." So our toddler helped me get things set up. We didn't end up playing that night, but we played tonight, and a piece was pretty much broken for my daughter ripping it. My wife was pretty upset at her new game being messed up before we ever played. Not at our daughter, but at me for not putting the game up around our toddler. I reminded her. She said it was fine if our toddler helped. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Are you seriously that dense? She clearly told you not to put the game together around your toddler. That's when your toddler starts to screw up her new game. She's exasperated that you didn't listen to her and tells you you might as well keep going and screwing up her game because you've already started. Read the room better next time because it's clear what your wife was telling you. I was already doing it and I wanted to keep doing it, so I just ignored what my wife wanted to be done with her gift. Imagine you had something you were really looking forward to and was pretty expensive. Board games can average $50 to $120. You got it as a burger gift, but before you had a chance to open it, someone else opened the plastic, started touching it and setting it up and dropping parts, and wouldn't stop when you asked. Seriously, OP, I get that a board game is something you play together, but it wasn't yours. And honestly, you need to start looking for a replacement part or replace the game. You should have waited until she was ready and considered her feelings instead of casually dismissing her and doing what you wanted. She was right that you shouldn't do it, and something got damaged 100% because of you. Question: do you normally gaslight her and ignore her feelings in other aspects of your marriage? Your point is just a long victim-blaming way of you justifying being a jerk. Geez, you sound like a great and supportive husband. My nearly adult female parents are divorced, and I spend 50-50 with each parent. Going to my mom's is awful. She has a stepdaughter, nearly adult, that I don't like because she's always stealing my clothes and wearing my jewelry. I've done everything I can to make her stop, including talking to my parents, but she refuses to listen. It's gotten to the point that I hardly keep valuable stuff or clothes or jewelry I like at my mom's. My stepsister had dinner with her boyfriend's parents yesterday, and I also had planned a little date with my boyfriend today. Because of that, I bought a cute dress that my mom bought me a while ago, shoes, makeup, and a few pieces of jewelry, and kept them in my bag. She spent all morning getting dressed up and ready. My mom and I saw her getting in 3 to 4 outfits until she said she was leaving. I looked at her, and she was wearing my dress. I asked her what she was wearing, and she said that nothing she had was cute, and that she found this dress in my room. I said, "No, you snooped around my things and found that dress in my bag. Take it off." She said she was already running late and couldn't do that, but I put myself in front of the door and told her to go change. I noticed she's also wearing my necklace and a ring, and I explode. I yell at her, "Take off my stuff, you thief. I'll call my dad. That's mine. Take it off." She starts to cry, and my mom asked her to go change and give me my things back. She yells she's running late and blah blah blah, but I don't care and I don't move. She returns to her room and changes, then throws my stuff back and storms off. My mom said that what I did was not nice and that I shouldn't have called her a thief. When she was about to scold me, I just cut her off and asked her to let me call my dad so he could also hear how she would give me a talk because I didn't let her lovely daughter steal my stuff. She sent me to my room, and I heard her and my stepdad fight that night. My dad's on my side, but my mom and her husband agreed that I was an idiot, and a friend thinks that I shouldn't have made my stepsister change when she was already late. I'm about to go out, and I'm definitely wearing the dress and the rest of my stuff. Not the idiot. Take your valuables to your dad, and don't leave something you don't want her to touch in her reach. I had to get a lockbox that only I had the combo for to keep unwanted hands out of my stuff. But you're also nearly adult and don't have to continue to go to your mom's if you don't want to. Judges consider that kind of thing. And get new friends. I think the other one is broken. Even if the dress hadn't been lying around, she knew it wasn't hers to take or wear. But to break into your bag is next level. I can't believe your mom would side with her. She outright stole your stuff. This is ridiculous and she had no excuse. Yes, your stepsister being late to something does not change the fact that she was attempting to steal your clothes. What kind of insane standard is that? Maybe direct her towards stealing from your mom's wardrobe next time instead. My fiance's sister and her husband came over for dinner last night. They have a very young daughter, Emily. Some background. Emily is a very curious girl who loves to play and explore and play dress up. I have a pretty nice clothing and shoe collection I showed Emily one of the first times she came over. Since then, I have let Emily borrow many items of my clothing to try on for fun and put on fashion shows. I was completely okay with it until this summer when Emily asked to try on a pair of my expensive heels. This was partially my fault. I said yes, but couldn't monitor her the entire time because I was busy preparing food for a lunch party I was setting up. I thought her parents were watching her since they saw her put them on too, but no. I came back to check on her 20 minutes later, and she had cut one of the bows off the shoes and was in the process of cutting off the other one. I was horrified and immediately stopped her, resulting in a huge tantrum. Her parents rushed in and asked her what had happened, and she said she didn't like the look of the bows and wanted them off, so she found scissors from my office, which she wasn't even supposed to go into at all. I was extremely upset and had to excuse myself to calm down. Afterward, my fiance's sister and husband apologized and seemed really sorry, but they never offered to pay for the cost of repair. My fiance, unbeknownst to me at the time, had then reached out to his sister to ask her to either buy me a new pair or pay for the repair. After a week, I got a random text for his sister asking me if I'd like them to pay for the cost of the repair. I declined because it sounded like she was forced to send the text. Fast forward to last night. It's their family's first time seeing us after the engagement, which happened 3 weeks ago. Yay! It was Emily's first time seeing the ring, so she kept asking me to show it to her, and I did, multiple times. Finally, after dinner, we were all sitting on the couch, and Emily asked to see the ring again, except this time she asked if she could try it on. I was expecting my fiance's sister to intervene immediately and tell her that wasn't appropriate, but she said nothing and just laughed. I was personally uncomfortable with the idea of her trying it on because 1, the ring is very personal to me and very expensive, and 2, I was still slightly scared after the shoe incident and worried about something like that happening again. I basically said something like, "Oh, this ring is very dear to me and I'd like to keep it on my finger, but I can give you one of my other rings to try on if you like." She said no and asked again. I repeated myself. She started getting teary, and that's when her mom intervened and said, "Oh, come on, just let her try it on for a second. She's not going to break the thing." I was getting annoyed at this point, so I just said, "I'd prefer not to." Cue awkward silence. Then her husband says, "Well, we should get going." But before they went out the door, my fiance's sister said, "Well, now I get why you two don't want children. It's probably better off for everyone." I was immediately shocked by this absurd statement, and my fiance said, "That was uncalled for." She said, "It's just the truth," and she rolled her eyes and they all left. Now my fiance is refusing to speak to his sister and has told me we will not have her back again, and everyone's just overall upset. My fiance doesn't blame me, but I can't help but think that maybe I should have acted differently. Am I the problem here? Not the idiot. A little child does not need to be trying on engagement rings. No one needs to try on someone else's engagement ring or a wedding ring for giggles, regardless of age. Engagement or wedding rings are personal because of their sentimental value. Look, don't touch. I'm honestly appalled at her parents' reaction, especially after what happened with the shoes. You shouldn't have to worry that anything else you have will be damaged or destroyed because his sister doesn't respect your belongings. It's not the girl's fault, though. Kids don't understand. But her mother certainly does, and she's the one who lacks respect for you and your belongings. She almost seems to like watching your things get damaged. And what she said to you was a way to retaliate against you for not letting your daughter put on your ring. She's not a nice person. Next, she'll want to try on the wedding veil and rip it. After that, I wouldn't invite any of them to the wedding. That kid sounds spoiled, and the parents clearly cannot be bothered to explain healthy boundaries to their daughter. Kudos to your fiancé for standing up for you. You picked a good egg. Also, the irony of a woman who doesn't watch your kid or teach her to respect others' belongings looking down on a woman who has far better parental skills than her is hilarious.